Okay guys, we're going to knock this head apart. We'll pull these valve rockers off. And then I'll remove these springs. On something that I'm not going to save or anything, I just use a hammer and socket. I'll show you how that goes. Those things didn't even seem like they were tight. I usually just take the whole thing so they all stay together. Throw that off to the side. Okay guys, this is how I use a socket. If you get a bigger socket than the keeper, like that, you should be able to just run right down the line. As long as those keepers fall out, you'll be good to go. Just like that. Because we're not saving any of this stuff, I don't really care. You just don't want to be beating on the top of you don't want to be wailing on the top of the valve stem. Or lose your socket. Bigger socket might be a little bit easier. We'll move up a size and see how it goes. Yeah. Bigger hammer might help. A little less oil. Okay. Maybe it's going to keep flying out of my hand. Who knows? We'll see. If you can hold that down, the keepers will stay right in the socket normally. This is it's kind of quick and ugly, but it works really well. We're not saving any of this stuff, so we're just going to try some. Well, we'll keep it around, I guess, for a little while. Make sure we don't need any of it. Which we really shouldn't. Alright, find all our keepers. Got one of those. One of those. More keepers. Okay, shake them out. We will shake them out. Should get a box. Everything feels nice and tight. That's good. I didn't want to send these to the machine shop. I kind of just want to get this thing blasted back together and get it running. Yeah, everything feels really good. Yep. Alright guys, I'm going to knock those seals off and then I'll bring you back for some reassembly once I get this thing cleaned up a little bit. Alright, see ya. Hey guys, I'll show you one of these springs, putting it together. So the springs come like this. The two are already in there. This is a locator. That goes on first, and then the valve seal goes on after. You can't really go backwards with that, because then that's the locator there. It won't fit on there if the valve seal goes on first. So sometimes this is kind of a bear, one person. It's nice to have a buddy, but... So I usually put a little bit of grease on the valve. Just a tiny bit. Get the valve in there. Then you have your top keeper, which is directional. That's cone shaped if you look in there. It's bigger on the top than on the bottom because those are a wedge. So make sure you get your wedge going the right way. Then we'll take our old school valve spring compressor. You want to center that on the valve the best you can. And then just clamp it down. And don't mash it so tight that everything is like beyond crushed. And then I take the keeper. Make sure you got the cone going the right way, because you might be able to get one in there backwards. And then it's a fun time fixing that. I put a little grease on them to hold them. Then I'll stick it in there. Turn it to the bottom. Grab the other one, put some grease on it. Make sure it's going the right way. Then one falls out. It's because we're videoing, guys. That's why that's falling out of there. Okay, once you get those situated, just back off your spring. And there you have it. So, there it is. Towards the end, I'll tap on all these with a brass hammer to make sure all them locks are seated. And that's about it, guys. I ain't going to bore you with the rest of them. Plus, there's probably going to be some swearing. So, see ya. What's up, Ray? So Ray came to check us out. What'd you get into, buddy? You're all dirty. What are you doing? Huh? Yeah, it was a good boy. So Ray came to check out our razor blade rebuild. Ray, does it meet your approval? Yeah? Okay, buddy. So here we are. We got our springs, valve seals, locks and keepers. Yeah, so we're all put together. It's the first one. Got one more to go. Won't bore you guys with that. And then I'll bring you back for maybe slamming the motor together. All right, see ya. Okay, guys, that cam looked mint, so we're going to put that right back in. We threw some of that lube shit on there. Make sure it's good to go. And hopefully we don't lose any lifters. Or beat the cam bangs out of it. There we go. We didn't lose any lifters. How about that? Clean off my hands. Wipe this off a little bit. Losing our stuff here, guys. We're losing our shit. Okay, that's our cam retaining plate going back on. Probably run these in with the gun, and then we'll go back and torque them. Get that timing chain set back on there. And then I'm going to roll this over and pull the pin and take a look at that piston that got hit. I want to take a look at that rod and maybe that bearing, just to make sure we're good to go. All right, guys, that's it for now. I'll bring you back. Well, guys, when I left off with you, we were jamming the cam back in there. And I said I was going to check 8 piston and rod, number 8. That's when the shit show started. So we drained the oil. And when I drained the oil, I noticed that we got a glitter bomb. Let me show you what's going on with this oil. I don't know if you guys can see it. Hopefully you guys will be able to see that. See that swirl? It's like metallic paint. So this led to where we are now. I ended up pulling that whole thing down on the hunt for where all this metal's coming from. Main bearings, all the main bearings. That one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're all good. All the main bearings were fine. Then we went to number 8 rod. I'll show you number 8 rod. So here's number 8. Rod's perfect. There's nothing wrong with the rod. The bearings like new. All the rest of the bearings are like new. So we ended up, I don't know where this metal's coming from. So the cam looked fine. I didn't really look at the cam bearings because we're not supposed to do that. But now I have the cam bearings. They're knocked out of there. And they don't look terrible to me. There's the other side of the main bearings. Those look new. And then we have the cam bearings. So some of these are down to copper. They're all down to copper. Like on the same, like number 2. Let me show you number this. So that's number 1. That was number 1. This was number 2. Barely copper. And I think that copper is all on the feed. Wait a minute. Yeah, it's on the feed side. So that's where the oil's coming out of. I don't know how much of that's normal. I'm not. Here's number 3. And this one is, see, copper, same thing. 4. Copper, same thing. And then there's 5. And 5, yeah, see, it's copper again. So, it's all on the same. That was on the oil feed side. So I don't know. I don't know if that's enough to make that much glitter in there. Like everything looks fine. The cam looked fine. This is the only thing that's not like awesome looking, but I don't know that they're that bad looking either. I'm not sure on the LS stuff. The motor was holding great oil pressure, so I don't know. Usually you lose cam bearings, your oil pressure takes a shit. So I don't know. This, I mean, yeah, they have some copper, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to expect on an LS. This is the first go around with an LS. So this is going to be a phone a friend deal, I think, and show him some pictures and see what he has to say. I just don't understand where the metal's coming from. All the pistons look good. Everything was good. So here we are anyway. We're going to clean this whole thing out. These main bearings are perfect. So but I bought new ones. So we're going to change bearings, which I think was probably a waste of money. We're going to put new rod bearings because we're already there. So for the little bit of extra money, we're just going to do it. I didn't have my ball horn when I did that. I mean, this still had good crosshatch too, but I didn't have the ball horn when I was doing this. My friend had it. So now I have that back. I did a new crosshatch in there. Just touched them a little bit, clean them up. So that's all well and good. So we'll clean it up and we'll start slamming it back together. I don't know where that metal came from. I don't know if that little bit of bearing wear is enough. I don't know. We'll find out. The lifters all look good. This motor only had 39,000 miles. So I don't know. But I didn't really look at those cam bearings before either, because you don't look at the cam bearings, right? But I'm pretty sure the first one, number 1, didn't have any brass showing until I changed that cam. So I'm pretty sure when I pulled the stock cam out, that number one bearing that I could see did not have any brass at all. Now pulling it apart, hunting for all the glitter came from, now it has brass. So I'm kind of thinking it must have been something's going on with the cam bearings. I don't know why it would eat them unless there's something wrong with the cam. So I'll probably set the cam up on some blocks and see if it's got a whole bunch of run out or something from with the dial indicator to see if it's got a whip in it, or I don't know what would cause that. But it's all one-sided pretty evenly. So I don't know if that's even a theory or not. But we'll find out. Hey guys, we're throwing these cam bearings in. And here's the box of cam bearings. And on the end it says all the positions. I'll turn that. So there's all your positions. So it is the way it is in the box. So it's from back to front. And then if you look at these, if these got all mixed up, that position on that tag is engraved on the bearing. So you can look at the bearing and you'll see like a CH-2. So you can look at the CH-2 is 2 and 4 position. So that's, yeah, that'll get you there. All right, we're going to put one of these in. I've been marking them with a marker. I kind of just eyeballing the oil. There's an oil galley down in here. In that hole, there's 2 holes in the bearing. One of those holes needs to line up. There's one there, and then there's another one on the other side. One of those holes needs to line up with the oil galley. So make sure one of those lines up. And I've just been kind of eyeballing it. I'll get it started. I'll slip that out of there and just check it. Make sure it's kind of where I want it. Yep, that's lining up with the oil galley. I did put a black magic marker on that, so I know how deep to go. Kind of a pain in the ass on the thing without a buddy. I've been stopping at that black magic marker. See how we did. Oh, you guys are almost out of focus there. Here we go. Okay, it seems centered. And then I have a mirror. I have this mirror that I can look in there with and just make sure that we're not too crazy out of control. Make sure our hole is lined up with something. I don't know if I can bring you guys down to show you that or not. Probably not. If you guys can, I don't know if you guys can see that. Probably not. There it is. Yeah, you guys can't see that, but I can see it. That's pretty right on. Could go maybe a touch more, but I'm going to leave it. It looks good to me. Alright, I'm going to go to the next one, then we're going to have to pull it off the engine stand, because the length of the tool is what keeps them straight. So you're in the center. Hold on, let me back you up. So you're in the center now. And then as you go the other way, I would think you want to flip that tool over, and so you have a longer, so it's straighter, because you're using the front bearing or the rear bearing to keep your alignment, because that thing has a cone on it. Let me back you up. Yeah. See, this end has a cone, so that goes in there to hold your center. So the longer you can keep that, the straighter those bearings will go. Alright guys, we're going to do one more, and then I'll finish them up. Yeah, it feels good. Everything feels alright in there. Okay, so now we need third position, which is a CH25-3, which should be this middle one. There we go. I don't know if you... There it is. And that thing is just glaring all over the place, man. I ain't gonna be able to show you guys that. There it is. CH25-3. So that's the bearing for that. Make sure the oil hole is lined up, or it ain't gonna get no oil. Looks good. Now we're gonna roll away from you guys so you can't see nothing, most likely. Okay guys, I'm going to check that. See how we did. Looks pretty good. The hole looks pretty centered. Might be able to go in just a little bit more. Get that mirror. Take a look in there. Now the light's blinding us. Yeah, I'm going to leave it. It's good enough. Alright guys, I'll bring you back. I'm going to do the other two, and then we'll prep up for main bearings. We'll go from there. I'll take you guys with me on setting that crank in. But now I got to pull this off the stand for a minute. Put them other two front ones in, because I want to go the opposite direction to drive them. So they're straight. And then I'll get it back on the stand, and we'll set the crank in. Alright, see ya. Hey guys, we're back on the LS project. We're going to throw these mains down in there now, and then we'll probably set that crank later on tonight. So we got these Mahler main bearings. And man, they look like they came out of somebody's wood stove, the way these things look. I don't know if that's heat treating or whatever, but there's some kind of a tri-metal whatever, which we really didn't need looking at the other main bearings. Those things were like new, but I'm going to throw the money away and put some new main bearings in here. So we're going to stick these in, and then we'll set that crank. Oh, instructions say on this thrust bearing, the 3 divots go to the back. So that was the only thing in the instructions that said anything directional. Is to keep them those 3 dots, there's 3 grooves in it, to the back. Okay, there's all our mains in. Grab some assembly lube. And this is like everything else in life. You definitely want, you don't want to do anything dry. Everybody likes lube in their life. I'm not one of those rubber glove guys either. I just put the shit on there. Make sure there's plenty of it. Alright guys, we're going to set that crank next. Okay, our crank is set down in there. We'll make sure these are cleaned off. I cleaned this whole thing pretty well, but it looks kind of linty. So we'll give these another little rub down. And we'll get those main caps cleaned up. Which will be 20 minutes for me, but it will cut right back to where we left off. Alright guys, we're going to lube up the crankshaft. Make sure you always lube your shaft. Everybody likes a lube shaft. So then we're going to set the main caps on. And I'll probably pause you guys again because I got to go find some bolts. So make sure you lube these up real good. And then we'll throw these caps on. Move you guys around a little bit. Knocking you all over the place. We put our bearings in already, so that's good. This is 4. This is a thrust bearing. And it's got the 3 tabs facing to the back. We'll throw some stuff down there too before we get started here. It doesn't look right. Okay. Okay guys, we're going to throw our bolts in. I think I have some ultra torque over there, but I think we're just going to motor oil them up and send it. Okay guys, I'm going to lube these up and then I'm going to run them down with the gun. I'll bring you guys back for torquing. Okay guys, we're going to start torquing these at 20. We're not going to do that stretch 87.3 degrees or whatever GM says. Working our way out in a circle. I'm going to start at 25. I'm going to start at 20. I don't know if we'll do three little Makita. I mean the little Milwaukee there. Already got us at 25. Except for on the thrust bearing. So maybe we'll do these in 3. Yeah, we'll do them in 3. And we'll go to 40 or something. We'll go to 40. Gonna hit that real quick. Make sure we got a little thrust bearing. If you can feel a little bump in there. Yep. We'll measure that later, like the correct way. We'll set up a dial indicator and make sure it's got enough thrust. I think we're going to be good. Okay. Geez, how tight were these things? All right, here we go, 60. Okay, that's 60 on the first set. The outside set was 55, so we'll probably start at like 30. Okay. Now we will jump up to 55. All right, here we go, 55. Okay, send it. Oh, feels good. Feels good. So we got everything on the bottom. So I guess we can roll this over now, and I gotta clean up those pistons, make sure they're really clean. And then I won't bore you guys with that. And then I'll bring it back, and I'll bring you guys back when we start dropping some pistons in this thing. Okay guys, I figured I'd show you these last two cylinders, how I put them in. So I take some oil. Today it's Mobile 1. And I rub that around that cylinder, get it nice and lubed up. Nobody likes a dry hole. Do this one too. I already put the other 6 in, but I figured I'd show you guys how I do it. And this is just my way. May not be the right way, but it's the way I do it. So then we're going to put some oil on the piston too. So we're going to put oil on the skirt and on the rings. It doesn't have to be a ton, because normally before I set the pan, I'll dump oil down in there to make sure that that wrist pin has plenty of oil on it. But I put it on here too, so just to make sure. Dot goes to the front, so when we hammer that in, the dot will be facing forward. I use Lucas on the bearings, the Lucas assembly lube. Oh, and a lot of guys say you have to resize the rod when you go to an ARP bolt. I don't know if I really believe that on these. I mean, it probably could help, but this is a fractured rod. And by fractured, I mean it's actually broke. That's why it's all uneven. So, I mean, the only way, traditionally, when they resize, this gets clamped. They regrind the flat, this flat, and they'll make the hole smaller. Then they torque the cap, and they re-hone the hole in the middle to make it back to the correct size. Well, on fractured rods, you can't do that. You can maybe torque it together, and if it gets smaller, you could maybe hone it back to the correct size. I don't know. I don't think I'm not doing it. In this case, it's not worth it. I guess if you were chasing every little bit, then it would be worth it. But then again, if the cap goes the other way, let's say it goes bigger, well, you can't hone what's not there. So, I mean, this ain't like a cap that's already smooth, where you could have cap walking from, you have a better fastener that clamps tighter. If these were flat, the cap could maybe potentially walk. And that's when you run into a lot of problems. That's why normally a lot of things get resized. Let me show you the cap for a second on that. I'll show you what I mean. So we have numbers to numbers on this. I hope you guys can see that. There we go. Let's see what backwards. Okay, so there's numbers to numbers. And if you hold that, you can see it's broken at an angle where it's been fractured. And then when these two go together, you should almost see like no line. See how nice that is? So you can't really resize these in the traditional sense. No, you can't. You can hone them if they get small. I'm not chasing that much. I'm not going to worry about it that much. Okay, so anyway, we got our piston skirts lubed. This dot's gonna face forward. We have Lucas assembly on that. I usually just set these in and then just kind of cock them just a little bit to bind them up so they don't fall all the way. And it's gonna fall all the way anyway. So there we go. Make sure your rings are set whichever way you want them. Everybody does a different orientation. I always throw a little bit of oil around this thing on the inside. This is a ratchety, kind of shitty. This is the shitty assembly one. They have a nice billet one that's, you know, for that bore size. I don't have any of those. And I take my crappy tool, put it on there, just hold pressure. Whoop. Just wants to fight us now. And I just hold pressure on it normally. It wants to keep falling like this one does. Just ratchet that up. You don't have to kill this thing, like crank on it uncontrollably. I always give the top edge a tap to make sure it's square, because this is kind of sheet metal deal, and if they get overlapped, it can be funny. Not like funny haha, like funny a pain in the ass. Okay, so that one's in. And I'm going to do the other one because I don't bend well. So I'll flip this and then we'll put the two caps on at once. Okay, we lubed up our skirts. Lucas on the rod bearing. I'll set that in there crooked for a second. Get our tool, we'll throw a little bit in this here. Just got this stupid release, you just release it. Put some more oil in the tool. Okay, whoop. Make sure you orientate your rings whichever way you want to do it. Some people do 10 and 2 or 9 and 3 or whatever however you want to do it that way. Hold tension. Okay, put your dot face in front. Don't have to crank too hard on that. Make sure your tool is square. And there you go, there's your second one. Well, not your second, but number 8. Okay guys, I'm gonna roll this over for a second and then we'll throw those caps on. Alright, here we go. And that's where we are at. So we will reach in here. Grab number 6 first. Okay, there's number 6. It's in a bad spot. We're probably going to rotate that some. If you guys can see that. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can see that. Alright. Alright, we're going to go with number 6. That has letters. Mine still has the ink stamping on it. See that? There's no ink stamp there. So that's going to go this way. And if you do get these messed up somehow, that groove will not look... It won't go together like that. It'll be totally messed up looking. I just run them down with the gun. Very easy. Okay. I'm totally unprepared today, guys. I don't know what it is with me, man. Can't get it together today. Alright, then we're going to take Bendy. This is Bendy. And we're going to go like 15-ish. Yep. 15-ish. Yep. We'll go to 30-ish. Yep. 30-ish. Yep. And then we're going to go to 40. Yep. And 40. Yep. Alright, we're going to turn this a little so we can get to the other one a little bit easier. I'll pull that up where we can see a little bit better. Right about there. Okay, we're going to reach down and get our rod. push her up some. Okay, there it is, pulled up. Get our cap. No markings on the cap. No markings on the cap. There's our markings. Pretty dirty. There's our markings. If you can see, you guys can't see them, I don't think. Maybe there. But okay, so no markings. No stamp to no stamp. Okay, I'm going to run these in with a gun. Ooh, getting pretty speedy. Little touch. All right, we'll get Mr. Bendy back out, and we'll torque that down. And that's number 8. I'll show you the top of number 8. That's the one that cut the valve. We sanded it a little bit, so we're going to go to 15-ish. Yep. 30-ish. Yep. And 40. Yep. Okay, guys, I'm going to pull this back up and I'll show you the top of number 8. We sanded on it a little bit to pull some of those chewy marks out. So I'll show you that. There we go. All right. Okay, there's number 8. Let me get that light. Should move it. Let me move that up to TDC. Whoa, we're losing it. And put our pin back in. Okay, there's number 8. So that, take you off here for a minute. I'm going to give you guys vertigo. So those are our chewy marks from the valve. We got some there, we got some there. All right, see ya.